Welcome coin enthusiasts and collectors to today's exciting deep dive into one of the most fascinating coins from the United States, the 1982 quarter dollar. Now you might think that all quarters are the same, but today we'll discover how the 1982 quarter in very fine condition could be worth far more than you think. The US quarter has been in circulation for centuries, but some years hold special significance in the numismatic world. Among them, the 1982 quarter stands out not because of its minting year alone, but due to certain characteristics that set it apart from the majority of quarters produced during that period. To understand the value of the 1982 quarter, we first need to look at the historical context. The US Mint had been producing quarters with a relatively stable design for many years. This design, featuring George Washington on the obverse, was first introduced in 1932. However, by the early 1980s, the quarter was not just a coin used for simple transactions. It had evolved into a key collectible item due to the rise in numismatics and the increasing interest in rare coins. So what makes the 1982 quarter special? Well, in the world of coin collecting, condition is everything. Most quarters minted in 1982 are quite common, with the vast majority of them circulating in everyday transactions. However, when you find a 1982 quarter in very fine condition, that's when things get interesting. You see, coins in very fine condition have sharp, clear details that make them far more appealing to collectors, especially when compared to heavily worn or damaged coins. Very fine condition refers to a coin that shows some minor signs of wear but retains most of its original detail. For the 1982 quarter, this means that the features on George Washington's portrait are still clearly visible, with slight flattening around the high points of the design. The coin's date is legible, and the mint mark, if present, is still sharp enough to identify. It's important to note that while the 1982 quarter may not be as rare as some of the earlier key date quarters in US history, its value can still be significantly higher than face value if it's in very fine or better condition. A typical 1982 quarter in average condition might only be worth a little more than its face value, maybe 25 to 50 cents. But when you're talking about a very fine 1982 quarter, the value can climb, sometimes reaching up to $5 to $10 depending on the exact condition and whether it has any other unique features, like an uncirculated grade or an error. But the real allure of these quarters lies in their rarity. Even though 1982 was not a low mintage year for the US Mint, coins from this period that have survived in excellent condition are harder to come by than one might think. Over time, most quarters were subjected to heavy wear and tear in circulation, which diminished their collectability. Finding a quarter from this era with minimal damage, no heavy scratches, or dents, and sharp, clear designs is a rare occurrence that could make your 1982 quarter incredibly valuable. For numismatists, a very fine 1982 quarter can be a highly sought-after addition to a collection, especially for those who focus on coins from the late 20th century. In fact, certain examples of this quarter have sold at auctions for much higher prices depending on the demand at the time and the market trends. You might be wondering, what can I do if I think I have a valuable 1982 quarter? Well, the first step is to have it properly assessed. A professional grading service can evaluate the coin's condition based on established criteria such as its sharpness, detail, and the absence of significant damage. The better the grade, the higher the value of the coin. But even without professional grading, there are a few things you can look for when examining your coin. First, check the obverse, where you'll find George Washington's portrait. Does it still retain sharp detail, or has it worn down over time? Next, look at the reverse side, which features an eagle perched on a branch. Is the eagle's detail still clear, or has it been worn down from years of use? If you spot a quarter with minimal wear, it's likely worth more than you realize. Another factor to keep in mind is the mint mark. While the 1982 quarter was minted at the Philadelphia Mint without a mint mark, it's worth remembering that errors or special varieties can add extra value to a coin. In fact, some 1982 quarters, particularly those with rare errors, such as double dies or off-center strikes, can fetch even higher prices at auctions. But let's get back to the main point, the value of a 1982 quarter in very fine condition. While the coin itself may not break any records in terms of its initial minting year, its condition and rarity make it a hidden gem among US coins. For collectors who are passionate about building a comprehensive set, or even those looking to invest in numismatic treasures, The 1982 quarter could be the perfect addition to their collection. So if you have a 1982 quarter lying around in your change jar, it might be time to take a closer look. You never know, that seemingly ordinary coin could turn out to be a valuable piece of history waiting to be uncovered. As with all coin collecting, patience and careful attention to detail are key. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, the world of rare coins is full of surprises, and who knows, your 1982 quarter might just be more valuable than you ever imagined.